Watch Donald Trump, and for a second, you get to enjoy the comedy side of him, and then you're like, tomorrow you'll go back to the terrifying side of him. Because that line was honestly one of the funniest things I've ever heard him say, where he said, the press has treated me so badly, folks. So badly, it's been local. And in that moment, I don't know if you noticed, he even like becomes sort of, it sounds like he's trying to do like a Mexican, without even realizing it. He's like, it's been local, they treat me crazy. They treat me crazy, so loco.
Hey folks, and welcome to the channel. In a now viral Daily Show segment, Trevor Noah delivered a masterclass in comedic takedown, roasting Donald Trump for his cringeworthy attempts to speak Spanish and his increasingly bizarre public behavior, turning what could have been a throwaway joke into a full-on cultural autopsy of Trump's desperation for Latino votes while knowing absolutely nothing about the communities he's trying to court. It's fascinating, Noah began, shaking his head with a smirk. Because Donald Trump doesn't just mispronounce Spanish words, he attacks them like they personally insulted his family. He played a clip of Trump at a rally saying gracias like it was a sneeze, gracias, followed by Latino pronounced as Latino, which Noah noted isn't even wrong. It's like he's naming a yogurt brand. Noah didn't stop there. He highlighted Trump's infamous campaign slogan, Estamos Unidos, which he proudly announced like a breakthrough in diplomacy, only to be told later that it's literally just "We are united" in Spanish. If you are enjoying the video, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. You know you're in trouble when your campaign slogan translates to something you could find on a Hallmark card, Noah joked. And honestly, if your entire outreach to 60 million people is "We are united," you're not a leader, you're a greeting card. He then mocked Trump's bizarre physical behavior during speeches. His stiff arms, the way he walks like he's balancing an invisible barbell on his shoulders, and his tendency to point at crowds like he's casting spells. Every time Trump speaks, he looks like a man trying to operate a robot version of himself, Noah said. Like someone in a basement is controlling him with a joystick, and they keep hitting the angry puppet button. Noah also zeroed in on Trump's habit of randomly inserting Spanish words into English speeches. Tremendous, muy fuerte, as if linguistic seasoning could make up for policies that targeted Latino communities. It's like he thinks language works like hot sauce, Noah said. Just sprinkle a little C in there and suddenly you're authentic? Bro, you can't say hola and then deport someone's parents. That's not charm. That's emotional abuse with an accent. The segment took a sharper turn when Noah contrasted Trump's awkward performance with the real struggles and contributions of Latino Americans. You can't tokenize a culture while demonizing it, he said. You can't say I love Hispanics while calling them criminals, cutting their health care, and putting kids in cages. That's not love. That's gaslighting with piñatas. He wrapped it up with a mock Trump campaign ad. Vote Trump 2024. I can say adios with my eyes closed. Look, adios. Cut to Trump waving dramatically, accidentally knocking over a sombrero display. See? I respect the culture. I even know what they wear on their heads. The segment exploded online with clips like Trump versus Spanish, and Trevor Noah schools Trump in 7 minutes, racking up millions of views. While conservatives accused Noah of mocking a language learner, most viewers recognized the satire wasn't about language. It was about the absurdity of a politician who thinks performance can replace policy and who treats entire communities like props in his political theater. As always, Trevor Noah used humor not just to make people laugh, but to make them think. And in this case, he proved that sometimes the best way to expose a man's phoniness is to let him keep speaking, especially in a language he clearly doesn't understand.
In music, as voted on by the 13,000 members of the Recording Academy and 20 million illegal immigrants. Beyoncé announced her new tour. Yes.
At the 67th Annual Grammy Awards in 2025, host Trevor Noah brought his signature blend of sharp wit, cultural insight, and lighthearted irreverence to music's biggest night, delivering a monologue that had the star-studded audience roaring with laughter while effortlessly weaving in hilarious jabs at Donald Trump. Taylor Swift, and the absurdity of fame itself. Opening the show at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, Noah strode onto the stage in a sleek suit and grinned at the crowd. "Welcome to the Grammys," he said. "The only night where someone can win Best Rap Performance and still go home feeling bad because Beyoncé didn't look at them." He quickly turned his attention to the elephant not in the room, Donald Trump, who had been dominating headlines with his latest campaign antics. "Trump says he wants to be president again," Noah said. "And honestly, I believe him. Because he's been acting like one since the day he lost." He paused for laughter, then added, "He's been so busy suing people and posting from Mar-a-Lago, I forgot he wasn't still in office." At this point, he's like a sequel no one asked for, Trump 2, The Recurring Nightmare. Noah mocked Trump's recent attempts to appeal to younger voters by name-dropping pop culture he clearly doesn't understand. He said in a rally, "I love the music, I love the youth, I love that song." What is it? "Shake It Off." Noah mimicked Trump's stiff delivery. "Bro, that song came out in 2014. That's not being in touch with youth. That's doing a presentation for your grandkids and failing." That's when he pivoted to Taylor Swift, earning both gasps and cheers from the audience. "And speaking of Shake It Off, yes, Taylor Swift is here tonight," Noah said, glancing toward the pop icon's front row seat. "And let's be honest, if she wins Album of the Year, we're not seeing her leave. We'll have to cancel the rest of the show." "Sorry, folks. Taylor's still thanking her astrologer. We're going dark." He joked about her cultural dominance. "Taylor Swift is so powerful right now, she could release a re-recorded version of the U.S. Constitution, and it would go platinum in a week." Then, with a smirk, he added, "Meanwhile, Donald Trump says he's the most popular president ever." "Taylor, can you re-record that claim? Because the original is fake."
First artist ever to win Album of the Year 5 times. Yeah. Which means she would break the record of 4 wins set all the way back in 2024 by Taylor Swift. I'm just going to say, Taylor, if you break Taylor's record, you know the Swifties are going to come for you. You don't want to mess with them, man. Yeah, they're like an army of Kendrick Lamars. I'm really honored.
Noah didn't stop there. He poked fun at the music industry's obsession with legacy, comparing Trump's political comeback to a washed artist trying to stay relevant. "Some people keep coming back like they're headlining Coachella at 80, he said. "Trump's out here doing a farewell tour with no end date. And the weirdest part, he still thinks he's the main act, even though the crowd keeps yelling for Biden." He also took a moment to celebrate the night's real heroes, the artists. "While politicians are busy lying, cheating, and getting convicted," Noah said, "you all are out here writing songs about your feelings. And honestly, that takes more courage than running a country." The monologue ended with a standing ovation, especially from Swift, who laughed and playfully held up her hand like, "I'm not safe." Noah bowed and quipped, "If I get sued by a former president or a billionaire pop star, I'm blaming the writers." The segment quickly went viral, praised for its balance of humor and intelligence. Fans loved how Noah used comedy to highlight the absurd contrast between the world of music, creative, emotional, evolving, and the world of Trump. Narcissistic, repetitive, stuck in a loop. And once again, Trevor Noah proved he doesn't just host awards shows. He turns them into cultural commentary with better punchlines. In the end, the night belonged to music, but Noah made sure everyone remembered. In the battle between truth and ego, laughter is still the best opening act.
At least the lie is consistent in that case.
Did
you ever have Trump on the show?
No, we never did.
He did say some bad things about you on.
I don't know. I don't keep up with it.
Yeah, I do. I keep up with it. Yeah,
yeah, but you have like a feud with him. You have like a real. So here's what I've noticed. Like Trump's annoyance at people is directly proportional to how big they were when he like focused on the media. Does that make sense?
I see. Yeah, right.
So like Time magazine is still the biggest thing in his life. And then obviously Jimmy Kimmel, SNL, if they insult him, he gets really angry about it.
Yeah.
I'm so new to him that he's just like, that guy. You know what I mean?
I have a little extra something with him because he used to really like me. I'm not sure exactly why, and I broke his little heart somehow. I think that he's...
You realize you could rekindle a friendship and change this country?
Oh, yeah. No, well, I don't think it would change the country. I know I could rekindle the friendship with one compliment. That would be all it takes. And that's why he's such a terrible choice for president. Because you can turn him around with a simple comment. I mean, he loves people he hated 5 minutes ago.
One hug, Jimmy. One hug.
At a comedy festival in 2025, Trevor Noah delivered a hilarious deep dive into the long-running feud between Donald Trump and Jimmy Kimmel, framing it not as a political rivalry, but as the world's most one-sided sitcom, starring a president who refused to accept that the punchline was always him. Imagine being so mad at a talk show host that you spend years tweeting about him, Noah said. Most people get revenge by ghosting. Trump gets revenge by writing a novel's worth of tweets before breakfast. Noah recounted the origin of the feud, Kimmel's devastating 2017 monologue mocking Trump's infamous body shaming of MSNBC's Micah Brzezinski, where Trump claimed she was crazy and low IQ, then added she was unfit for TV because she was eating bacon. Kimmel responded with a fake ad for Cheeto stain remover and showed a photo of Trump's face next to a sun-damaged potato. And just like that, Noah said, a holy war began. Not between nations, between a man who hosts a show and a man who thinks hosting a show is governing. He joked about how Trump couldn't let it go. He kept bringing up Kimmel like he was a foreign policy crisis. We have to talk about Kimmel. He's hurting the country. He's hurting morale. Bro, you lost an election by 7 million votes, and you're still mad about a guy who made a joke about your skin tone? At this point, it's not about pride. It's about melanin. Noah then shared some behind-the-scenes intel, entirely fictional but delivered with a straight face, that had the audience in stitches. I have sources, he said gravely, that Trump used to watch Jimmy Kimmel live every night on mute, just to see how much time he got. If he was mentioned for 45 seconds, he'd tweet. If it was over a minute, he'd write a whole press release. He added, his staff called it the Kimmel Watch. They even had a color-coded alert system. Yellow, he was mocked. Orange, he was compared to a snack. Red. Kimmel showed the Cheeto ad again. He also imagined a secret war room in Mar-a-Lago where Trump's advisors tried to craft the perfect comeback. They spent millions on focus groups asking, what's funnier than a Cheeto? They tried taco shell, burnt popcorn, a squirrel in a tanning bed. Nothing worked. Because you can't out-funny truth, and the truth is he looks like a man who was rejected by a tanning salon for being too orange. Noah didn't let Kimmel off the hook either. Kimmel's not innocent. He saw a man with a fragile ego and a Twitter addiction and went, oh, this is my retirement plan. He didn't roast Trump. He discovered a renewable energy source. Trump's anger. He wrapped it up by pointing out the absurd imbalance of power. One man has nuclear codes, a global platform, and a reality show. The other has a monologue and a cue card. And yet, the guy with the cue card wins every time. Because you can't sue satire, you can't arrest a punchline, and you definitely can't block Jimmy Kimmel without looking like you just proved his entire point. The audience erupted in laughter and applause, not just because the jokes landed, but because they highlighted a deeper truth. In the battle between a comedian and a demagogue, sometimes the funniest thing isn't the joke. It's the fact that the most powerful man in the world was undone by a bit about snack food. And as Noah walked off stage, he left them with one final zinger. At the end of the day, Kimmel didn't destroy Trump's presidency. He just made sure we never forgot that the emperor wasn't just naked. He was also crunchy.
Trump, very, like, in an interesting way, he responded to Iran. Then he wrote on his, like, thing online, on his profile, he was like, "Thank you to Iran for giving us notice about the bombs. Now it's over. It's all over. There will be peace." And then he said, "Iran, Israel, peace." And they were like, "All right, peace, peace, peace. All good." Then Trump went to sleep. And in the 4 hours that he was sleeping, Israel, like out of nowhere, they came and they were like, "Iran launched more missiles." And then everyone was like, "Wait, what missiles?" And Israel was like, "You launched missiles." And everyone was like, "No, And then Israel was like, "Too late, we're coming for you with more bombs." And then the world was like, "What?" And then Trump woke up. And this was the moment when I can safely say I have felt more connected to Donald Trump than I've ever in my entire life. Because that man is not a normal human being. Very seldom have I looked at Trump and thought, yeah, I can.
At a sold-out comedy special in 2025, Trevor Noah took audiences on a satirical journey through the surreal logic of Donald Trump's worldview, zeroing in on one of the most baffling contradictions of his presidency. The idea that dropping bombs could somehow be a path to peace. Trump used to say he wanted to be the ultimate peacemaker, Noah said, shaking his head in mock admiration. Which is wild because his idea of peace talks was sending a missile with a note attached that said, "You're fired. Love, Don." He mocked the absurdity of Trump's foreign policy rhetoric, particularly the claim that he was the most peaceful president despite overseeing drone strikes, military escalations, and threatening North Korea with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He said he dropped bombs to prevent war, Noah said. That's like saying you set your kitchen on fire to teach your roommate not to leave the stove on. See, no one's cooking anymore. Total peace. He paused. That's not conflict resolution. That's arson with a Nobel Peace Prize application. Noah then shifted to Trump's infamous tendency to swear on stage, despite positioning himself as a moral crusader for conservative values. He'd be in front of a crowd, red hat, American flag, talking about saving the children and family values, then suddenly go, "They're all a bunch of losers and total S shows." Noah mimicked Trump's stiff posture while dropping the F-bomb like a nuclear warhead. One minute he's quoting the Bible, the next he's cursing like a sailor who just stepped on a Lego. He joked that Trump's speeches felt like a PG-13 movie with rated outbursts. It's like watching a Disney parade led by a guy with a flamethrower. You're enjoying the balloons and the music, then boom! Someone yells, "Sleepy Joe is a total horse's ass." And the Mickey Mouse float catches fire. Noah imagined a behind-the-scenes Trump campaign meeting where staff tried to clean up his language. They'd beg him, "Sir, please don't say that on stage." And he'd say, "But it's true." And they'd say, "Yes, sir, but can you say it after the teleprompter stops?" He added, they even made a swear jar, but instead of putting in money, every time he cursed, they had to release a doctored photo of Biden sleeping. He also poked fun at how Trump would insult world leaders with playground-level name-calling. Kim Jong-un was Little Rocket Man. Bernie Sanders was Crazy Bernie. Elizabeth Warren was Pocahontas. Noah paused. I don't know what's more disturbing, the racism or the fact that he thought Pocahontas was an insult. Like she didn't have a whole Disney movie? She sings. She's beloved. The audience howled as Noah wrapped up with a broader point. The craziest thing isn't that he dropped bombs or cursed on stage. It's that we ever thought this was normal. That we watched a man treat global diplomacy like a Twitter feud and said, "Yeah, that's leadership." Meanwhile, if your uncle talks like that at Thanksgiving, you take his car keys. In classic Noah fashion, he used laughter to expose the madness, showing that when a man claims to bring peace while raining fire and preaches decency while cursing like a stand-up gone rogue, the only appropriate response isn't outrage, it's satire. Because sometimes the best way to deal with a world turned upside down is to laugh. Before you cry, or worse, start believing the nonsense. Hope you enjoy the video and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel.